Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Tabletop. Today, we are going loosey-goosey. We're going to talk about everything that is important to us, things that we're thinking about, things that we're playing. And if you like this type of episode, you should really subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/tabletop, where we do this sort of conversation every single month for those who are involved with the Patreon. We also drop really cool stuff now and then over there, so please get involved. But it's not just me, your host Nick, here today. We got our classic panel revving up over here to talk about what's burning inside their brains. Why don't we start with you, Franco? What is going on?
Beep, beep. I've got my train pass. That's right, I'm on the train. Fuck cars.
Why did you beep, beep?
I think that's the sound that my Metro card makes.
Nice.
Choo choo, I'm on the freeway.
Incredible.
And who are you?
And he's chewing his lunch.
Chewing my lunch. I'm Rio.
All right.
And I believe in carpooling.
Nice.
Okay.
I love that. Yeah, it's economically supportable. Okay. And
ding ding, I took my private helicopter. And I'm Shade.
Hell yeah. Daddy Warbucks over here.
His private helicopter's in RC. He just walks.
Yeah, that's right. I just kind of follow wherever I lead that thing.
Yeah.
That's why it says ding ding, because he's got that's the battery.
Ding ding, battery low.
But also, if you have a private helicopter or you know someone that does, maybe reconsider some things in life and tell them to do the same.
Get in touch with us at Tabletop.
Yeah. See if they want to sponsor.
Yeah, the reconsideration is, have you considered giving us money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Donate your helicopters. Helicopters for kids. I think that's pretty local, isn't it? Cars for kids.
I don't know, because I feel like that was everywhere, but it could have just been everywhere in Massachusetts, you know?
I think I knew Cars from Kids prior to living here. I feel like it's
Did you say
made
cars from kids?
No, for kids.
You made
Cars
the
cars
from the kids.
Before living here.
Oh, that's not what I thought at all.
No, you just find the kid with a car and then you say,
Yeah, that's what I
this
thought you
is
were
my
saying.
car now. What are you going to do, fight me? I'm going to do
I have a helicopter. Fuck you.
I just turned 18. Don't turn me into a car.
Oh, you're not a kid then.
Oh, man.
See you later.
Do you guys remember when Uber had the Uber helicopter as the promotion?
Do
for a
I?
while? Yeah, it was like in New York and a couple of other major
That would have been better
cities.
for Lyft.
Yeah. You're
Oh, fuck, yeah.
hella right, man. You're hella right. But yeah, it was like you could have, it was like you could do Uber Lux or Uber Helicopter, and they would have a helicopter come pick you up and then take you wherever you need to go. It was like hundreds, like thousands of dollars, you know what I mean? It was crazy, but you could get across Manhattan apparently in like 10 minutes. So.
Okay.
Even on the busiest of days.
I guess you could take the train.
You know what I also learned is that
Ooh, what if you put solar panels onto helicopter rotor blades? Would that make them
I
green?
don't think so. I don't think there's enough surface area.
I don't think. Also, like, helicopter blades are pretty floppy.
Yeah.
They are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super floppy. So like the way that it oscillates in such a way, anytime you ever see a movie, this isn't exactly accurate. I'm being very hyperbolic here. But if you ever see someone like standing near a helicopter while it's that's like a death sentence.
Really?
That's really unsafe.
Is there
in a
like
lot
the-
of, they're
Wow.
oscillating a ton.
Helicopters are terrifying.
They really
Yeah,
are.
they are. I don't want to be in one.
No, I don't want to be near one now.
No, I've never wanted to be near one.
One thing that I've been obsessed with lately is sort of like the cyberpunk genre, and I learned recently that the brutalist buildings in like Blade Runner and a lot of these sort of movies that popularized the genre, the reasons why they look like those kind of Mayan temples is because they're optimized for air travel, because things could land on them easier. And none of the rich people want to go through the city. They all want to fly over it. And that is why all of these mega corporations have those like crazy brutalist structures. I thought that was really cool. Like, wow, what a great world building
Nice detail,
tidbit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is that
more you know.
where did that start? Where's Cyberpunk from?
Cyberpunk, I've been doing a lot of research on this. Cyberpunk is sort of from, I mean, you can go back into like the 30s and 40s with some of this stuff, but a lot of it came from like Neuromancer, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, but then it became kind of popular genre fiction as it was used to try to bring the like punks into the science fiction genre. So that it was like a lot of science fiction authors trying to write for this like kind of cool crowd, but it kind of did the reverse in that a lot of academics came into the genre genre to be like, oh, this is a really interesting like way to view sort of philosophy.
Well, the best academics are punks.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so it sort of developed in that way, and then you had a lot of different areas around the world start picking it up because of their economic situations. Like Japan, one of the reasons why like Japan cyberpunk became so popular is because the economic fears from the U.S. thinking that Japan was going to take all of our technological superiority, and that's why a lot of like cyberpunk doesn't quite make sense anymore. Like if you Mike Pondsmith, who wrote Cyberpunk 2013, which was like the big TTRPG that came out. His whole thing is like
80 something.
Yeah, in the 80s, he was like, America turns into the like a militarized weapons manufacturer, which it is.
Yeah.
And they just basically got trapped in like several corporate wars in South America because that's where everyone was fighting during the Soviet like Cold War sort of stuff. And then you have like Japan rising to become this like economic imperialist sort of thing because there was the mixture of the fear from World War II, but also the design.
I'm waiting to hear when we're going to talk about the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what's the fiction here?
But the fiction is that didn't actually turn out to be the way it developed.
Yeah.
Like we didn't get stuck in those wars in South America. They became a lot of proxy wars rather than direct interventions. And so the cyberpunk genre took on its own sort of thing because it had this alternate history. And now it's a lot more like Warhammer in that it's just like a huge amount of lore that's been developed over the last like 50 years. To have its own timeline, but it's still very cool.
Yeah, I didn't realize that game had so many things enmeshed in it.
Yeah.
'Cause I remember when we played Sean's game, like he was like, "Yeah, we're in Night City," and I was like, "Oh, isn't that from like?" But I didn't know how old the property, the IP was.
Yeah, but it's also like Night City was actually first developed, I think, in Neuromancer, which came out in the 60s. So that is like a term for this specific city the main character Cass is in. But like Pondsmith took that as like a, oh, that was a great thing. I'm bringing in
The
that
prototypical.
So one of them is
Cyberpunk
New
City.
Night City.
Yeah. New Night City.
Well, technically, our Night City is Corrado City and was renamed Night City after the founder.
Yeah. What's his first name? Something Knight.
Shyamalan?
I don't know. I think it's like Richard.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
like
know.
Richard Knight, and then he got assassinated by the mob because he was trying to keep the mob out of Night City to make a capitalist utopia. And then they came in, and then the corporations were like, "You have to do your business, people,"
Sorry, I'm just gonna.
so that the corporations could run it.
No. So it's keep one mob out so our mob can
Exactly.
run.
No, that's basically it.
That's
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
I want to be
that's-
very specific here.
But it is really interesting. Like
The mob is a pure distillation of capitalism.
It really fucking is.
Yeah. Like the genre piece that I think is really interesting is style over substance is one of the main tenets, and low life, high tech, which it means that the value of life and life experience is at an all-time low. However, people have the ability to use a lot of very high tech, which is,
Again, I'm asking where the fiction
this is the thing, Shade, is that I was telling Rio, like, when I play these games, I'm sort of like, I love this, but also I feel like it's too close to what I experience on my day-to-day. Like, maybe I don't have cyber arms, but at the same time, I do see, like, corporations throwing people away when they're not useful.
Well, that's also like in that one series in the cyberpunk universe called Blackout, where like everyone was just like watching their brain dances, their VR experiences. Like, I don't want to be in reality,
But
I'll just watch TV.
Yeah, it's very Ready Player One.
Real, yeah.
can we circle back? You don't have cyber. Are you poor?
In what sense?
Like you don't have cyber arms, man?
No, I
Cyber
don't.
poor.
Yeah. I'm cyber poor. I have not been shipped in, which... okay, another thing I learned recently when I was researching all this is that Neuralink, the Elon Musk company that's trying to put chips into people's brains?
Dipshit.
There's two things I learned about this that I found fascinating. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. One is just sad, so maybe we can skip over it, but it's basically that all of the apes that have been tested on, they are just using the wrong sized implants.
What?
They don't measure the implants before they enter them into the animals, and so that's why a lot, like 90% of the failure rates are because they're just not doing the basic like measuring, which is crazy to me. But then the second thing that I think is more interesting is that they actually did put a chip into somebody who did not have the use of their body, basically was in a full mobility device and couldn't use computers and things like that. and they chipped him, and he was able to start navigating the internet and using computers and all that. But then his brain started retracting away from it, so he started losing all of that. And he was like, yeah, it was like I was falling into a prison of my own body. And I was like, that is pure cyberpunk.
My Jesus God.
Sorry, did I say one of those are sad? Both of those are sad.
Yeah, thanks, Nick.
I wish that individual all the luck in the world, and fuck, that's terrifying.
Yeah, isn't it crazy? It's like, man, what we are, it's not really a genre piece anymore. It's like really just like an adaptation or a futuristic version of where we're going, which I think for me is probably why it's resonating, because I feel as though I, as an anxious person, try to like fact find to calm myself. And so I just have been interring a lot of this information into my body to be like, okay, I kind of understand where all of this goes. So what's up with you guys?
Yeah, that's why I don't like look into things a lot. You know?
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, well, this is gonna distract me.
This is just like Rio was saying with let's look at our pretty flashing lights.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's like, I think there's definitely like ways you can distract yourself, but there's also ways you can just be like, oh, let me just engage with the people around me. And,
Yeah. That's a good way to look at it.
Not look at a lot of different news and facts and stuff. I also do the same thing though.
Yeah.
Like I definitely.
We should bring back low tech communal.
Sure.
Well, I
Let's do
mean,
it.
like that's sort of what the nomads are in the cyberpunk setting. That like the cyberpunk TTRPG setting is that they've sort of rejected society to live outside of the rules, but then you have to deal with like, oh, everything is designed to keep you in the system, and so by escaping it, you're having a harder life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of tough choice to make.
Yeah.
So let's talk about something else.
Well, yeah, Shade, I was asking you about this monster that you were interested in from the new rules.
Yeah, and I know, I'm sure there's been a billion discussions about this, but we really haven't talked about a lot of the D&D monsters like we used to do Under the Bed as a podcast, and talk about...
Yeah, the frame broke and now the mattress is just on the floor. There's no under the bed anymore.
We killed everything.
All right, I'm going to tangent real quick. How many frames have you broken in your life?
Oh, that's a great question.
Wow. It's like a weird brag right now.
I'm just curious.
I think I've broken two. One was my college frame that was just crappy.
Yeah.
And then one was when I was an apprentice at a theater company. We had a bunk bed and...
most dangerous frame to break.
Really, yeah. And one of the support bars bent.
Fuck, yeah.
And so then we had to be like, okay, who wants to sleep on the bottom?
No one. Or rather yet, no one sleeps on the top.
No one sleeps on this bed at all.
Yeah.
I broke one, and that was one of like those futon bed contraptions that you have to like. You have to move every night to make it a bed, and you make it a couch, you make it a bed.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of wear and tear on that.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Anything that requires a joint is just going to break eventually.
Yeah.
Cue arms, knees.
Yeah.
Basically. It's
true.
How about you, Franco?
No,
None?
None?
I don't think so.
Wow. I'm definitely in the 4-ish range, I
Whoa.
would guess. And the most...
Are you bad at sleeping?
No. Very good at it.
Very good at sleeping.
I'm just, no, the most awkward one was Jackie and I were, I don't know, like 6 months into dating, and her parents were coming to her place. I was supposedly not living there because her parents were very conservative at the time. Still are, but different.
You moved in before 6 months were done?
Probably.
Or just stayed over or whatever, you know?
Yeah. Anywho,
Never to someone that soon.
well, I mean, we had been friends for a long time, and we really just kind of danced around the relationship thing until it was like, okay, we did a sitcom. Anyway,
Will they, won't they?
Anyway, and we were like 30 minutes from them coming over, and I sat on the corner of the fucking bed, and it just collapsed underneath of me.
Nice.
And I had never felt more embarrassed because I wasn't especially I was more fit than I am now, and then 2, conservative parents, and and I was there early. I thought they were going to, I think I arrived at the wrong time or something. It was just an awkward moment for me. Anywho,
were they in the room when you
no, they hadn't arrived
okay.
yet. They were arriving in the next 15-30 minutes kind of situation. It's well, this bed is now collapsed and we have to have a reason for that doesn't feel like I have been in your bedroom for your very conservative parents to...
You could have been hey, this is my friend Shade. He came over because I broke the bed frame and he's been trying to fix it for me.
Yeah, no, we were dating. So. Anyway.
Termites.
Yeah, well, could have definitely been a real situation there, except for it was a steel bed.
Industrial
grade Rust monsters.
Rust monsters. Nice.
Back to D&D. So I have been looking at the D&D 24 stuff. One day we'll formally just move into that in one of my games. But there is a monster. So a lot of the monsters in this kick ass. They're just cool. And the Blob of Annihilation is one of the coolest things ever.
Is it an Oblex?
It's the Blob. I'll read you everything. Blob of Annihilation, all-consuming cosmic entropy unleashed. Habitat, any. Treasure, any. The Blob of Annihilation is a coagulation of cosmic entropy conjoined to the remains of dead gods. This malicious entity drifts through wild space and multiversal expanses inimical to life, vast regions where the chance of encountering it is low. The Blob poses the greatest threat when disasters or nihilistic magic users summon it to inhabited realms. Once unleashed, the Blob of Annihilation rolls across the land in vast cosmic gyres, with fragments of the Blob splitting off to engulf targets. The Blob consumes anything it encounters, sweeping forests, villages, and fortresses into its mass. Within the Blob is an expanse without air or gravity, where entropic forces destroy whatever they engulf. Nothing can survive within for long. This thing...
I hit it with my spear.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I throw my spear.
It is a gargantuan ooze Titan, neutral evil, AC 18. Okay. AC 18 is not too
When
bad.
you say Titan, what do you
Titan in
Is
size.
it size?
That's its size, yeah.
Doesn't it cap out at Gargantuan?
I'm
Wait,
telling
you just
now,
called it gargantuan, though.
It is gargantuan, but it's classified as a Titan.
Oh,
Sorry.
cool.
So yeah, so it is gargantuan. But gargantuan, so this is a thing, even in 5e. Gargantuan says that it's 5x5 blocks or 4x4 blocks, 4x4 blocks on the grid.
Wait, isn't that huge?
Large is 2x2. Gargantuan, the huge is 3x3, and gargantuan's 4x4.
Okay, got it.
Colossal is in 5x5.
Which isn't technically a 5e stat, but has been used in various things. And this is the thing. Anything that is gargantuan can conceivably be larger than 4x4. It's just 4x4 on a grid is kind of like a easy math to do, but there's no real limit to the size gargantuan can be. And this thing's classified as a Titan to kind of explain conceptually this is larger. Anyway, this thing's got big HP bloat, 448 for an average, an initiative 16. Yeah,
Double damage.
My magic missile does
double damage.
3d6 plus 3. Said my magic missile will be doing 3d6 plus 3 damage per round.
But we've talked about how you can't single target monsters without mobs and things like that in 5e D&D and beyond. Kind of super easy for groups to deal with. This is one of many monsters that I think can easily take on a level 20 group.
No problem.
Without too much problem, yeah.
Wait till I wish it away.
Go.
That's probably the thing to do.
I mean, but that kind of wish... That's going to be, because if you're not doing a spell, right, that's going to be one of those wishes that could greatly go wrong for you.
What if I just wish it to be in a different place?
That, I would say, is the same effect as a plane shift or a banish, and so you'll have to go by those rules.
Just be I wish that this is in the deepest floor of the abyss.
That's a plane shift or a banish. And
But doesn't banish just banish it back to its dimension?
well, right. I mean, again,
If it has
if
an
it has
actual
one,
one.
yeah. So plane shift in that case,
Yes.
which even I guess technically plane shift in the new stuff doesn't have the targeting effects that it used to. Like they got rid of the melee component. Of
You could
plane
move it. You could move it, but also give it a birthday cake. That's not a spell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put it inside a birthday cake. Send it to hell.
I mean, then I would call it that wish thing, and
That's polymorph.
True polymorph.
and the monkey
it's not a creature.
curl. True polymorph includes objects.
Oh.
Yeah.
Turn this bread into a dragon.
I mean, actually, that would probably work. That would work too. Turn it into a birthday cake.
Turn it into like an evil god.
Oh, and then everyone eats it, and then everyone becomes ooze.
No, but nobody becomes anything because it's just a birthday cake now. True polymorph. It's true.
Forever.
Yeah, it does have immunity to acid, necrotic, poison, charmed, exhaustion, frightened, grappled, paralyzed, petrified, poison, prone, restrained, stunned, and unconscious.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, a
That'd be
lot of
oozing.
immunities.
Oh, what do we got? Ivan Ooze. He would know how to deal with this.
Ivan Ooze?
From Power Rangers.
Oh, gotcha.
Do you not? Oh, yeah, you're a baby.
No, my mom wouldn't allow me to watch Power Rangers. It was too violent.
My parents didn't allow me to watch Power Rangers because Lord Zed had no skin on.
Oh, okay.
I remember we watched the season 2 premiere, and I was like, oh, I was so excited, and we all watched it. My father was like, "You're never watching this again.
Oh.
He's clearly the devil."
But isn't that part of like? Wouldn't your dad be like, "Hell yeah, a show to show my kid that you punch the devil in the face"?
So this is
That's not how Christian fundamentalists work.
well, but interestingly,
Depiction
it
is not
depends.
endorsement.
It really depends because it's an evolving situation, right? Like once upon a time, they were very much no, don't show any depiction, and now because they've gone more into an extremist set, it's like yeah, we love killing
The devil.
things. Not everyone, of course, but it's interesting the way those.
That wasn't my Saturday morning.
No, certainly
I
not.
don't know about your Saturday morning.
My Saturday mornings were Shaolin Showdown, the Jackie Chan adventures,
Oh, man, I love the Jackie Chan.
I love that.
and then
I've
whatever
been wanting to run
WB
a
had.
campaign based on the Shaolin Showdowns.
good, yeah.
Where it's like, oh, you gotta get this magic item, and here's your skill test just to piss off Franco. Can you jump through 20 clouds before your opponent?
I was also kind of like
You roll a d20 20 times.
Shaolin Showdown. I was always like, why didn't they just pick any other device to go after? Why do they always pick the same ones? You know what I mean? Because they didn't have to show down over them. They could just go after.
Well, that's
different
because the items revealed themselves.
ones. Yeah, they did account for that.
They had to go after the one that was
Revealed.
sparks. Yeah,
You're so right.
yeah, bestie. Once you remember a fact once or twice.
I know it's impossible for me. The drugs have scoured my mind.
I have no facts. I know nothing about life. I can only recite
From a birthday
opinions.
cake.
Yep. I've been
you are
true
a birthday
polymorph.
cake.
I used to be this evil Oblex god.
I watched a really weird clip of a video. It's called "Gay or Cake," and this guy like woke up next to his boyfriend, and he was trying to wake him up, but he wouldn't wake up, so he'd give him a little bite on the arm.
It was cake.
But it was cake.
Is this wait what? Is this
I just
a
watch a lot of
skit?
clips, man. I don't know. I'm on Instagram. I'm going through reels. I don't know what's
I
what.
saw one very similar to that where a guy was like watching Is It Cake? And he was like, oh, it's cake, it's cake. And then he looked at himself and then he touched his leg and then pulled it off and it was cake. And he was like, and started screaming and then
That's fun.
he was devoured.
I really love that we've created this level of technology.
High technology, high life.
Yeah.
But what else about this monster? Like, I don't.
You haven't
At a
convinced me
certain-
yet.
Oh yeah.
At a certain point,
I mean, I
feel
guess you
like
kinda have, actually,
with
but-
Tarrasques and all that stuff,
Yeah.
once you beat one of them, it's over, right? Like you can't go up from there.
Well,
Like when you destroy the stuff that eats dead gods.
Well, you can't kill a Tarrasque. You can only put it back to sleep.
the same thing with this, really.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You can't kill an ooze. You can only make the ooze more
Well, this,
compact.
yeah, it's not. It's kind of weird.
What if I stuck a straw into it and drank it? Like a milkshake.
You die.
You die.
I think both the straw would be consumed by the ooze, and then your face would be by touching the straw.
That's true.
So this thing can make it has magical resistance advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. So again, polymorph and shit like that. It has 4 legendary resistances.
4?
Uh-huh.
It's too many.
The blob makes 2 pseudopod attacks and uses engulf. It can replace 1 attack with a use of restraining glob. Engulf, it moves up to half its... Or no, it moves up to its speed, which is, I think, 30 or something like that.
How many...
30, yeah.
How many 9th level spell slots do you get in a day? 1?
I think 1 or 2 at the absolute max.
Yeah, so you'd have to have 2 max level wizards. And then you still wouldn't even be able to get off your whatever, your polymorph or something.
I mean, there's no guarantee that it'll work,
Yeah.
even with 2. Like, it's a whole thing. It's gonna. So anyway, this is gonna. It can engulf things, and they take 21 force damage at the start of their turns. Are suffocating, restrained. If they reach 0 hit points, they dissolve into ash, which is ejected into the astral sea.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. They throw globs of slime at large or smaller creatures within 600 feet of itself.
Wasn't this in the creation myth of Adventure Time? The Land of Ooze?
Yeah, kind of.
It seems like this was very familiar to me. What was the name of that movie? Robin Williams was in it. Flubber.
Sure.
Yeah.
What I want to turn this monster into like little flubber guys.
So Floam is, isn't it?
Floam.
Yeah.
Floam. Jackie's character, Floam.
Kind of.
What he was a. What was
an
that
ooze
creature?
folk.
Ooze folk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Just
whatever
like
they
an ooze
call
guy.
them.
I don't know what they call them.
That's
Spelljammer.
Spelljammer. Yeah.
Floam.
None of us have ever been the hippo people.
I have gift characters, but we have not played them really in our games. No.
Yeah. Wait, are they the gift?
No.
Gif.
Gith and GIF.
Gotcha.
Jif.
And also, yes, that is
Jif Yankee.
there is they made some little silly lore more recently that there is a ongoing debate between the
Oh
GIF
my
GIF
God.
people on.
Boo, Wizards
Yeah.
of the Coast.
Yeah, well, hey,
No, it's great.
you know.
Also, they have Loxodons, which are elephant
Yep, from
people.
Magic the Gathering.
And then Minotaurs are playable races. You could basically play the megafauna of Africa in a setting.
cool.
Yeah,
That would be a fun game.
yeah, because like you could do. There's like the crocodiles of the Nile. You could do like a lizard folk or a.
Is there like a lion one?
Yeah, there's Leonin. They're also from
Oh
Magic
yeah, the
Gathering.
Leonin. So you got Leonin, Loxodons, Gifts.
Tabaxi.
Tabaxi could be all over the place.
What about
just like could be
giraffe?
cheetahs.
So I think for giraffe, you would have to do something like the from the Humblewood setting.
Or like a custom background.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah. Are they just not in the setting? Because we're pulling what we have.
Yeah.
Here.
And then you could have like North American megafauna as the villain, a huge moose person.
Or well, no, you just
Oh
use,
yeah, no, 'cause, lizard folk could be the crocodiles.
use the gnolls as the enemy.
Yeah.
Then we got gnolls, the hyenas.
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm.
You could fully
What was the bad
recreate
guy?
We
Lion
just made a
King.
fully. We did a full world.
Scar and his Knoll band. Yeah.
But you have to sing Be Prepared if you.
And we named this cub Scar because he's gonna be a villain one day.
You had a real name first, right?
There's a live
According to
action
the
movie,
newest
yeah.
movie, Mufasa, they showed Mufasa and Scar growing up together, and how the new family
And
just chose
Mufasa is
Mufasa
an
over
adopted
Scar.
child.
Yeah,
Whoa.
not even the real heir to the throne.
Okay.
Which means Mufasa to me is the villain all along.
He's adopted?
Because I believe in
Monarchies?
The monarchy.
The hereditary monarchy.
The crown goes to the firstborn child. You can't just pick the inheritor.
Yeah.
Divine right to rule. God damn it, it means something to people.
The whole point of the system is that you're second only to God.
Yeah. That's true.
That's a really cool. So, like,
It's-
how many Titan-esque?
Oh, there's a number. I mean, like the Tarrasque is a Titan-esque.
Yeah,
you
but
know.
because there's also those ones that are like giant spaceships. The like huge, like eldritch.
That's from Farscape, bro.
Well, I mean,
The one that was in Ico.
Thank you, Franco.
oh, the astral.
Whatever they're called.
This is gonna kill me.
Astral beasts.
I mean, it's something like that.
Dreadnought.
Astral
Yeah.
Dreadnought. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, that absolutely killed me that I couldn't think of the name.
I'm dead on the inside.
But are you dead?
All right. Well, no, but I do think
Yes.
that those always pose a problem to me. That where it's like once you have seen or experienced that, there is really no.
I mean,
You're at the end of the campaign kind of thing.
yeah, for sure. Like if I were to use the blob, it is a good substitute for whatever the mysterious darkness was that we did in that variation on Tin Candles.
Yeah, totally. One thing that I have found very strange, but also very entertaining, is that certain tropes that came to light during certain like decades are in like all of the properties, like the evil moon that's in Spelljammer or Planescape, the one that like crashes through the different realities and like devours everything. That's also
Are we
in
just talking about
Warhammer.
Spelljammers now?
I don't know what that is.
What's happening?
It's just like this like kind of like moon that like is like a evil monster essentially that's like a planetoid. But it's
Ego,
also,
the living planet.
kinda, but it's also in Warhammer. It's also in like
Majora's Mask.
Majora's Mask. A lot of fantasy stuff. There's like the evil moon in the sky, and I was just sort of like, where did that come from? You know?
Probably that Voyage to the Moon thing. You know, the old movie.
No.
That movie where they shoot a rocket. I thought you were an actor, Nick.
What are you talking about?
That movie where they shoot the moon with a rocket ship.
Oh, yeah, that was a book that I'm reading by
yeah.
Jules Verne.
But is
there's that.
is the moon evil in that, or is it just
I don't know,
like
it
a
has a
cinema
face.
thing? Yeah.
As a
They
face.
just wanted to shoot it. It was a gun club, and they're like, we're going to shoot the moon.
There's a really good but very scary anime / manga by the guy who wrote Uzumaki. He's so scary. I can't read his stuff. It's the one that where it's very popular on the internet where the people walk into the mountain and they find their size hole. Have you seen that? He has like a bunch of
Gingy.
horror comics. Sorry?
Gingy? Is that
Oh
it?
yeah.
Hey, Nicholas.
Yeah.
Junji Ito.
Ink can't hurt you.
You never know. It's called ink poisoning. So
Look it up.
but they have one where there's a moon that is coming to like is going to crash into the world, and then they send like astronauts out to stop it. But it turns out that the moon is sort of this like organic creature that starts like absorbing them and taking their memories.
Oh,
And,
fun.
Yeah, it's like a very
Like that episode of Doctor Who where the moon was an egg.
Yeah.
It's really stupid.
Yeah, it's a bad
And then the
episode.
monster laid another egg. when
It's
it
the
was
last
done.
episode of Doctor Who I ever watched because I was.
I
Like, this
remember
the show sucks.
because I remember you were actually one of the folks that did watch it, and that was kind of a breaking point for us a little bit as well.
Yeah, I was like, I'm never watching.
They've
this.
done different things since then.
But there
though.
are some way better episodes for that Doctor. Like honestly,
I don't need it.
I know you don't. You don't.
I know.
That's like me with Black Mirror. I watched that first episode with that pig thing, and I was like, I don't care how many seasons they have. Season 7 they just started. I was like, I'm never watching Black Mirror again.
Well, I think Black Mirror is definitely the type of show that because it's an anthology show, so you should just like look up what are the best episodes and just watch those because there's not really any continuity.
There is a little bit of continuity in it. There's like a shared universe element.
One of my friends, Michael, who was a really great writer, he hated Black Mirror because he thought that the writers of Black Mirror thought that the audience was stupid, and so it would be like all of the twists and everything weren't like for any purpose other than to be like, oh, you idiots, you idiot audiences, you think you're fucking a pig, you know, like that kind of stuff. And so then it's like, oh, why are
You
we
thought it was this thing? It's actually that thing.
So it's sort of like a weird masochistic sort of show to watch. But I've never seen it because he highly did not recommend it. But
I highly do not recommend it either.
yeah.
I mean, I would say Charlie Brooker probably does kind of think people are idiots.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Has anyone watched Altered Carbon?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah.
I loved it,
Worth
yeah.
watching?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely the first season. I did not get into the second season just because I was tired of watching dark sci-fi.
Sure. I'm sort of in the market for it, so I'll
But the first one's
think
like a
you'll
murder
like it.
mystery thing, and it's really good.
It's very cool because it's like, it's definitely like the cyberpunk thing, transhumanist stuff we were talking about before. So I think you'd really get into it.
Cool. Yeah, I'm down. I've been having a hard time with TV lately, but
It's a screen. You look at it.
Oh my god.
The buttons on the remote will make the channels change and the volumes
is
go up and
that
down.
what it is?
Yeah,
everyone's been trying to tell me, and I was like,
some of them have
this
buttons
is just a black piece of glass.
that'll just say
Black
Netflix
Mirror.
on it.
I thought TVs were the sandwiches with words.
No, I don't
at
know.
this one.
That's a sign. I think you're thinking A-frames.
I was thinking book.
Everybody was like, yeah, that's a billboard.
But A-frame actually does work here. But book was what I meant.
That's when you say things in a weird way that can be interpreted. You know?
Absolutely.
Life's hard, then you die.
I'm right now. I'm reading Neuromancer, and I find it funny because, like, and the author has admitted to this, but he doesn't really know how technology works. And this was written in the '60s when it was, or '70s when it was first like becoming a thing. So there's a part in it where the guy's like needing to communicate really fast with like another person on the net, and he's like, "Somebody get me a modem." It's like that doesn't, which is really funny. It's really
good.
Oh, you might like Dr. Blood Money.
What's that?
It's a post-apocalyptic nuclear war that was written in the 50s.
Okay.
And it's about the group of people that are trying to survive after it. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I like is that there's a man just stuck in a satellite just going around the Earth. Oh. And he's like not an astronaut. He was like a celebrity.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
That's so funny.
But he's just
Joey
flying
Fatone up there in space.
just flying on a satellite, just reading books and sending the classical music back to Earth as he passes over it.
Nice.
It's crazy.
Oh my god, that's pretty funny.
Is anyone else reading anything right now?
Am I?
I had to hit a pause because like I got busy and the library needed the book back. But North Woods, it was fantastic. I got maybe a quarter of the way through the book, and then things got crazy, and I had to return it. And I had to run to Porter Square Books to grab something for Jackie. And on my way out, I have a backlog, so I wasn't really like planning on going and grabbing it. But it was right there next to the door. I was like, oh shit, yeah. And so I'm getting back into that.
Yeah.
I cannot recommend it enough.
Okay.
It is historical fiction. In Massachusetts, spanning from from colonial period, let's say, all the way to specifically the Puritans, all the way here in Massachusetts, all the way up into modern times. I think it fixates on this one specific spot, this one place.
Oh, I've heard there's a graphic novel that's kind of like that. It's called, like This Place or something.
Yeah, and there's also
about the location than any one story. Or
yeah,
like that.
And there's also a movie that sort of did the same thing that was based on another book, I think called Home, and it was by the movie was Zemeckis.
I'm thinking about maybe that because there's a graphic novel named Home. And I think that's
okay.
It.
Oh, okay. So Zemeckis did a movie with Tom Hanks and Robin Price, I think.
Oh, is that the one where they de-aged
them? Yeah.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
I think I just read something, but I just picked up the prequel, I guess, to Legends and Lattes, that cozy fantasy book.
I've read it. I thought it wasn't as good as the first one, but
somebody in the bookstore said that they liked it better than the first one.
I think that
Nick didn't like Shucked, so I would go with the other person.
Yeah, probably.
We'll
but like for me, the first one, I felt like I read it in like an afternoon, and I was like, that's really cozy and nice. Mm-hmm. This one was a little grimmer, and also it took me a lot longer to read, and I don't think that type of fiction really holds up over like a span of time, if that makes sense.
Oh, it takes me a long time to read anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So maybe it was just me.
Reading's hard.
Yeah.
I'm reading The Lotus Empire.
Okay.
It's book 3 of the Burning Kingdoms trilogy. Mm-hmm. By Tasha Shuri, if you're interested. Cool. It's a fantasy novel that takes place in like a medieval India, so a little out of the European-centric life.
Yeah.
It's got good magic. It's got good lore.
Cool.
It's got a sapphic love story. Mm-hmm. So if you want to see, lady on lady.
Well, you won't see it. You'll read it.
But you'll see it in your head.
Well, some people can't.
Some people can't, which is crazy. Do you remember Samantha, who worked with us?
Ria? Say more?
She was an events person at one of our jobs in the past.
Oh, yeah.
She was one of those people. Couldn't see anything in her brain.
Oh, wow.
I was talking to her about it, and she's like, yeah, I just get sort of like emotions and vibes up there. She was always joking, but she was like, it's kind of like wind rustling through the plains.
Okay.
I thought that was funny.
Man.
Well, I just remembered the book that I just finished reading, which was Black Tongue Thief, which is pretty good. I guess I don't know. I guess it's pretty vulgar because it's like narrated by like a ne'er-do-well kind of thief guy. But it was really good. I listened to the audiobook version, which was really great because the reader was very like charismatic, and he did like his voice work was really great. And he really portrayed the guy with like all of the comedic lines hit really well. Like it's a pretty funny book too. So yeah, I would recommend it. It's sort of like he's like a thief, but there's like a tiny bit of magic in his like thieving stuff, and then he's like put on this like quest to do something by the thieves, like the Assassin Thieves Guild kind of organization. So it's very like gritty and stuff, and then he. It's a pretty grim book, but there's like a lot of like kind of gallows humor and stuff in it. So if you like that type of thing, I recommend.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you about I just finished a book and it was really good, and I think you'll like it. It's called Harriet Tubman Live in Concert. So the premise of the book is that historical figures have come back to the modern era. The author never tells you why or what the consequence of that has been. Just that Harriet Tubman goes to the main character and is like, I want to combine the Negro spirituals that I knew on the Underground Railroad, and I want to combine it with modern hip hop to have my message spread to this generation. And it's Darnell coming to terms with like, because he's a queer black man, and it's like, well, you got me this far, but now what am I gonna? Or I got more of a fight to go, to get it far. So it's like he's learning from Harriet Tubman. He's learning, like, helping them write their music and doing all of this stuff, and then they ended a big concert. It's very touching. It's like a 5-hour long listen if you get an audiobook.
Oh, cool.
Written by Bob the Drag Queen.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
dude
fun.
spent 4 years researching like the civil rights movements.
Neat.
The end of the Civil War.
That's cool.
And just to bring Harriet Tubman to life.
I'll have to tell Alice about that.
Yeah, it's really good.
Has anyone heard of / read James? It's like
and the Giant
I read
Peach.
that.
What do you think? I haven't read it yet.
I really liked it.
Yeah. I thought it, like, I've heard only good things about it, but I haven't been able to crack it.
James is a retelling of Huck Finn from the perspective of Jim.
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought that, like, from what everyone told me about it, I was like, this sounds really smart, the way that they went about it.
What did you shade your?
I haven't gotten to it yet. It was on my to-do list or to-read list, but I also, when I went to the library and picked up all the stuff that I was going to read, at the time decided not to grab that because I felt like it was going to be a lot, and I was looking for something a little lighter, which, I still went with historical fiction, but that felt more, short story, whereas I have all the context of Huck Finn already, so I was just like, this is going to be a lot. But it looks really good.
It's really good. It diverges like a couple of places from the story as well, which I thought was interesting. Like there's like, even like right at the beginning, there's a couple of divergences that I noticed like almost immediately, and it was like, oh yeah, I don't really remember it that way, and then I looked into it and it was like, oh no, it doesn't happen exactly that way. So I thought that was cool. And then it's like a complete retelling, because it's like at a certain point his story diverges. He kind of goes on like his own kind of picaresque adventure that Huck was going on, and he does that on his own. I think it's great. I think I heard a lot of complaints about like how he like had, this is like right at the beginning as well, but like he had taught himself to read, and then he had like taught a lot of other people how to read, and then like how to do a lot of code switching. So it's like a lot, like the story is a lot about code switching, and it's a lot about
Because even like the sort of like the way that he talks differs from when he's in front of like Finn and like the other white characters rather than when he's with other black characters. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the thing that got me really interested about it, was like this sort of like like how you present to the world and how that affects you and like what the act of having to switch does to you, and
I think other people that are smarter than me have other opinions about this as well that I think are valid enough.
Yeah.
But I think I thought it was fine.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I thought it was fine that he, like did that with language and stuff, and and that sort of thing, because he grapples with a lot of like stuff philosophically and like emotionally and ethically and stuff like that, and morally. So it does reflect how like Huck does that in the original book too. But yeah, I don't know.
Cool.
I always really liked Huck Finn, so I really enjoyed the book a lot.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's on my list. I just have to get through Neuromancer and one other book before I get there. But anything else? We're coming to the end now, so anyone have anything else they want to talk about before we close up?
Not all.
Yeah. No, I think. Cool. Yeah.
Everyone should try ginseng. I had it for the first time yesterday.
Like as a tea,
just in general as as a flavor, because I had never had it before, and
not even like a sushi or anything.
No, yeah, I had never had ginseng, but I had a ginseng gimlet or something last night, and it was really good.
Yeah.
What a very distinct, really great flavor. So. That's my recommendation for the next month. And everyone, if you liked this and you want more, head on over to patreon.com/Tabletopped. That is where you can find all of our Wild Magic episodes. Also, if you like Tabletopped and you want to hear something specific, head to our website, tabletopppod.com, and fill out that contact form. We read them all, and we will talk about them. So do that if you want to. And everyone else, we will see you next week. All right, bye.
Bye.